I got a good opener this week.
Okay.
I just kind of want to talk about how I want to be a samurai. I think that'd be really cool.
Being a samurai is cool. So let's talk about how much we want to be samurai.
How do you even be a samurai anymore? Because it's a class, technically. But I don't think it's a class that exists anymore, so...
If it is a class that no longer technically exists, then no one can dispute you when you say you are one.
I mean,
There's
technically,
no
I think you can be a
actual...
ronin, which is just a masterless samurai, because technically every samurai at this point would be a ronin.
Yeah. So you can just go around being like, yo, I'm a fucking ronin, dude. You don't want to mess with me because I'm a ronin. I got no master, but I still do my best to follow the ways of Bushido. And then you freaking slice some dude in half.
Just imagine you, like, go to the mall and you see some dude strolling up, and he's just, like, he's got the full ronin attire. He's got, like, his black yukata with, like, just the hat, like, tilted down over his face.
The mall samurai. Hey, can we replace mall cops with fucking mall ronin?
Well, at that point, they have masters because they'd be working for someone, so they would be actually samurai. We could bring the samurai class back, but they would just be working at the mall.
It revitalizes the malls of the United States and brings back the much-needed samurai class. Because no fucking kid is going to steal from, like, Journeys or Lids if the dude waiting outside is just a samurai sitting there outside.
He's got the piece of grain, like, in his mouth, and he, like, looks down at you as you're a little kid about to take some gumballs out of the candy store. He'll just be like, "Oi, shonen." And he'll just hold out his hand, and he'll just have you, and you'll just be like, "Oh," and you just give him the candy.
He holds out one hand, and with the other, he, like, shifts his sword and pops it a little bit.
Yeah, he doesn't even need to pop it. He just knows. He just kind of shows that he has his hand on it.
If you wish to keep your head on your shoulders, give me the gumball, child. That would be... You know what? I would go to the mall every fucking day to go see the mall samurai. That would be great.
I would try to be the mall samurai.
I would be a mall samurai.
And you know what's great, too? It's like, oh, well, it's COVID. You got to wear a mask. You can wear one of those, like, Oni masks they got.
Yeah. Wear one of the samurai masks, and
just
then
like
you're the best.
Masks. So then you got, like, people look at you, like, you tilt up the hat, and it's just like the golden fangs.
That would be cool as shit. I would be excited. Everyone else would probably be terrified and horribly weirded out, but I would be having a great time.
We need to bring back, if we're bringing back samurai, we also need to bring back cowboys.
Okay. Can we have samurai be the mall cops? And can we have cowboys be the meter maids?
Yeah. Imagine just... Because you're not going to... people always are like, oh, fuck you, meter maid. You're not going to do that when a guy walks up. You just hear, like...
The spurs.
Like his spurs. And then he's just got his gun, like the big iron on his hip as he comes over and goes like, "Whoa, partner. You were only allowed to park there for 20 minutes.
Hey there, pilgrim. You done parked in a 45-minute spot well before noon struck. It's 2:30 now. What are you gonna do about it?" I'm gonna accept my ticket and pay it.
Yeah, because as he says to, like, what are you gonna do about it? You see him, like, kind of undo the
little
strap on the holster.
Yeah, just pops it.
And he, like, cracks his neck like he's about to get ready for the showdown.
Oh, the one time I need to crack my knuckles for a bit and I can't.
And then we get the best moment, too, where the mall cop samurai parks in a spot he shouldn't have parked, and then the meter maid cowboy comes out, and they have a standoff.
Oh, that would be so tight. I want this. I want this reality. Give me more trains and give me mall cop samurai and meter maid cowboys.
Why would just bring back everything that was old and make it like we just modernize it?
Hell yeah.
Like, what if we have, like, people that run pirate websites dress like actual pirates and be pirates.
We're pirates of the internet seas.
Arr, you want yourself a bootleg copy of some Japanese cartoons.
We got everything you could need there, Sonny.
We found ourselves some mystical cartoons from the Orient.
Oh my god. Why is life not why does life have to be fucking so miserable and boring when people could just be cowboys and pirates and samurai? Just be it.
I don't know, but like people really need to step it up. I'm almost thinking of getting involved with like being a robber just so I could be a gentleman thief as I rob places.
We need more gentleman thieves.
Like I show up and I get like the fucking like Phantom of the Opera mask and like the top hat and like the cape with the staff as I walk into like a fucking jewelry store and go, "Ha, gentlemen, I've disabled the silent alarm. Hand over all your goods and I will be whisked away through that ventilation shaft."
I have no designs on your lives, gentlemen. I only wish for the jewels in the case. Oh, that would be so good.
It's like, excuse me, I'm calling the cops right now. We're being robbed, I think.
Maybe?
He hasn't really threatened us with violence.
He's telling us to, I don't know if this counts. I don't know if it counts as robbery. He's just telling us to give him the jewels.
He's just holding out a bag.
What if you go to a bank and he's
holding out the hat. He wants us to put it in the top hat.
This is demeaning. Is this like a magic trick? I hate this. At this point, we're just giving him our things to make him go away.
No, he's not even like running out the door or anything. He has like a rope that just goes up through the ceiling tiles.
We don't know what's going on. Please help.
He's waiting for the cops so he can wave to them as he disappears on the rooftop.
Somehow he managed to park a helicopter with his face on it on the roof. We don't even know how he did that.
That should be really easy to find. He has his face on it.
Where did it go? How is this possible?
There's a warehouse downtown that has his face on it too. There should be a connection there. Go get him.
Nah, sorry, we didn't have a warrant. We couldn't go search it.
Well, when we got there, it was a different guy, and he said, "Oh, I'm not sure who you're looking for. That guy definitely isn't here." What are you talking about? It's just him. He took the mask off.
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I think I'd recognize him. It's in the chin, the chin didn't line up.
Also, I know exactly who that is. He worked here for like 2 weeks.
I have all of his information.
It was an infiltration.
He even said that during his interview, but I didn't know what that meant, so I just kind of went past it.
So why do you want to work here? It is an infiltration. I will disguise myself and then figure out the best method of attack.
So, like sales? Like you look like a customer to make a sale?
Oh, I see. Infiltration. Like you want to do this as a stepping stone to your college degree program.
I see under your skills on your resume, you've put disguises as well as stagecraft.
Yeah. Master of disguise, stagecraft.
Picking locks. I don't know how that one will come in handy, but that seems like a weird thing to put on your resume.
Do you have transportation to work? Yes, the helicopter.
So you have a pilot's license. That's interesting. Always a good conversation starter.
I do not. But I have the helicopter.
In retrospect, we should have really seen the red flags, but he just seemed so nice at the time.
We should have just asked to look at the license.
Oh.
Also, he left his card. And for some reason, he left his card. It's a business card with his face on it. Of course, he has the mask on, but he also has his address and where to contact him.
He's got his email and his phone number on it. Maybe we should just call him and ask for our jewelry back. Nah, it's too simple. That'll never work. I like this reality we've built.
I think it's a much better one.
I agree.
Even better if all three of these people ended up hanging out together after work.
I
Or
would.
four of these guys, like the internet pirate, the meter maid cowboy, the mall cop samurai, and the wage worker phantom thief.
That would be amazing. They own like an apartment or something together, and they all just like go back and they're like, nah, back to the grind. They all go back home, and as soon as they get back into their apartment, they just like return to normalcy.
Just regular dudes.
Oh man. No one ever told me being a cowboy would be so stressful. I had to catch them dogies. Sorry, the work jargon just slips out.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I thought my Japanese degree was gonna be meant for more than this.
What are your qualifications in Japanese?
I was a mall samurai.
That would be the best use of a Japanese degree ever. I am become mall samurai. Could you imagine getting to like dress up as a samurai every day for work? That would be cool.
That would be cool. I feel like also, like, the uniform makes the man. I feel like, because, if you're a mall cop and shit's going down, you'd be like, oh no, I gotta get out of here. I'm just a mall cop. I'm not trained to handle this. But something's going down and you're dressed like a fucking samurai, you'd be like, stand back.
That everything would get so hard so fast. Because no one's going to want to like shoot up a mall if they know it's filled with samurai. And anyone crazy enough to do that. I just
realized too, I was thinking one samurai, but now I'm realizing. I thought, like, most malls only have like a handful. Like, I was like, oh, like one or two mall cops. I'm like picturing now like the fucking Shinsengumi.
Yeah.
At this mall, like they full on like just all come out of like the woodworks. If someone's just like, I'm not gonna pay for this. You
turn
can't
around
do that.
And
it's like,
just a
well, who's gonna stop
throat.
me? And you just see they all just come out of the shadows and they're all standing there with like their haoris on and like the headbands wrapped around.
That would be so funny. I love it. That would be good shit. Some psycho walks into the mall. One of the cowboy meter maids goes crazy. And then it's just fucking a cowboy in a gunfight with a whole bunch of samurai.
He's doing gun fu on them.
That would be cool as shit. He's got the revolver. He's got a lever action and a revolver.
I just picture like some dudes just in this store like, I'm not paying for that. And the samurai walks in like, you have to pay for it. I'm paying for that over my dead body. If you insist.
That is your decision.
And then he just slices him down and the clerk's there just like, it was a $7.99 item.
That was a $10 hat. And you cut off his head, then he will have no more need for this hat.
That was a $10.99 hat, and it will be a much more expensive funeral.
That's good shit. Oh, I love that.
Dude, after two like good decapitation by like two like katana decapitations, mall theft is going to be down a shit ton.
Now I'm picturing there's like spiked posts in front of the fucking lids at the mall, and it just
like
has
heads.
Yeah, it's got the heads and the hats they tried to steal on them.
I just picture it's like some dude bro who got his head cut off with a fucking snapback on. It just says something dumb on it like epic.
Oh, this is what they tried to steal. You may wear it out of the store, but you will find yourself on the pike.
If you want to wear it out of the store so bad, I believe that can be arranged.
Shing!
This is good shit.
That's the greatest reality I've ever heard. We truly are living in the worst timeline where we don't even have literal mall samurai.
You know what? This is something to look into. It's like, all right, because malls in America are dying. I'm going to try to go to them and be like, guys, I know how to fix your malls.
You'll go to the mall company
It's like
and be like, guys, I can fix this.
I thought of the Bill Wirtz thing where it's like I go to the mall companies and they're like, well, malls are already dying. Now how do we protect our stuff from getting stolen? Hire a samurai.
Hire a samurai.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
The malls aren't going to be open during the pandemic. Open your doors. Stop having them be closed.
Yeah. Open the malls. Stop having it be
them
closed.
Be closed. That's a lot of people these days. The mall isn't that, it's not even that good of a place to go. But
No.
if you throw samurai, if you could go to the mall to look at samurai, that's it. You've revitalized the business instantaneously.
You see one on break in the food court. He's just kind of like knelt down on the floor with like some tea on his lap.
He's just got tea and he's watching the crowds. I am on break.
All like the Eastern food places try to offer him the free samples, and he's just like holds up a hand. He's like, I know what real Eastern cuisine tastes like. This is not it. Do not insult me.
That would be great. Instead, I will go to D'Angelo's.
You have a Taco Bell here.
When does
I will
the
go to
Appleseed
BK.
Creperie open?
I will go to BK because I will have it my way.
Or else. Yeah, dude, that's what we do. We're a Burger King. You don't have, you can put the sword down. Tony, you can put the sword down.
As a mall employee, I get 10% off.
Tony, we know. You come here every day. We even have your order ready.
Arigato gozaimasu. And he walks away, and everyone's just like, Tony, you're white.
You bought that stuff from this mall. You went to the sword store. You bought the sword here.
If only that was a store in the... I would go to the mall more if there was the sword store.
I want to say there was one at one point that sold a whole bunch of swords and a bunch of other weird shit. But I can't remember what it was called.
I can't imagine them doing that at the mall just because it's like, I would like to buy one sword. Here you are. Thank you. And then you run outside and just start slashing people. I feel like that's the problem. They were like, oh... It's like, all right, here's your sword, sir. Please do not use it inside the mall. You can't stop me. Ah!
You can't stop me, but I can. And then there's a fucking mall samurai at the entrance. Problem solved.
And then he just cuts you down right away because his sword technique is better than yours.
His sword, he's been training with that sword for 3 months. He's a master.
Just does a fucking Madari Setsugeka.
Instantly. All problems are solved with mall samurai.
Why don't we just put samurai in every single position of law enforcement?
What if we just made cops samurai?
What if we defund the police and use it to fund samurai?
I want that to be the new slogan. Defund the police, refund samurai. And all of a sudden, all our problems are gone.
Someone in the comments is going to be like, well, you actually don't want that because here's historically some bad things they did when they were in power.
Shut up.
Yeah, shut up.
These are new samurai. These are better samurai.
But we're not going to go crazy with it. We're not going to have, cyber samurai.
No, that's crazy. That's weird. That's crazy. What if we just replaced all of the police with historical, caricatures? Mounted police or cowboys. We've got fucking knights as SWAT officers.
Imagine having to be the SWAT team and show up in a suit of armor.
Just just a contingent of fucking crusaders shows up.
We can have the riot police be Roman legionaries and do their turtle formation.
That would be cool as shit. I wouldn't even be mad. I'd be like, guys, let's go.
Or you'd be at a protest and then the riot legionnaires show up and just start attacking you. You're trying to chuck shit at them, but it's not going to get through because they turtle formationed.
The turtle formation is too strong. The tower shields. They formed a phalanx. I mean, if you think about it, that's basically what the riot police already do. We're just making them better.
Technically worse, so it's like, all right, guys, instead of all this protective gear you have, now you have some bronze armor and sandals.
You get free sandals, but you look super cool. I'm still down for it. It makes it more of a fair fight.
It does.
Cops are always so fucking tough when they got tear gas and pepper balls. Come at me in one-on-one combat. Give us each a gladius. See who's the stronger man.
I just want to see, like, people have to resort to, like, old-timey fights where, like, I don't know, I just picture seeing a cop with his riot shield and baton fighting some protester with, like, a hammer. And it just being like, I feel like if you took a picture of it, it'd be like Renaissance art.
Yeah. That is, I can picture that in my head. That is modern Renaissance art. I love it. We need to bring back cool old stuff.
We do. Old stuff like Higurashi. Remember we were doing the podcast?
Oh yeah, I forgot. We started that like almost 25 minutes ago. Oops.
Yeah. So we talk about more than just that, but that was pretty like important to me that we talk about that.
We'll get there.
Yeah, this is the protagonist seat after our prolonged opening bit.
You know, it's been a while since we've had a really good opening bit or tangent, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, normally we try to rush through it. But now we'll rush through the shows instead, because now we just lost ourselves 30 minutes.
Whatever. We'll keep the housekeeping to like a minute and a half, guaranteed. It'll be fine.
Yeah. And you know what? Most of the shows are probably pretty easy to recap this week.
Yeah.
Starting with Akudama Drive. So this episode was called The Shining.
Do you guys like slasher movies? I like slasher movies.
It was, I could see, I'm like, oh, I knew immediately. I'm like, this episode's called The Shining, and Cutthroat is the thumbnail, I'm pretty sure, for it. Well,
yep.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing. It's The Shining. That's the best way of describing this episode.
They realize to get to Brother, they have to break into the one place where they know they could find information about him, which is the Executioner's stronghold. But of course, that would be suicide. So Swindler, who is now actually Swindler, like she's basically doing mass swindling, she convinces people to riot by saying that she is going to lead the Akudama in a revolution against Kanto or Kansai. So people are freaking out, trying to hunt down Akudama in the streets, which she got a lot of low criminal offenders probably murdered because of this, but whatever.
Yeah, it's like full on riot mode where people are like burning cars and beheading each other in the street.
Yeah. It was just a DUI.
I forgot to pay for the baby Ruth. I'm sorry. And then you're fucking dead.
Yeah. So they do that as a distraction because now all the executioners have to go out into the city to stop people from rioting, and they can just bust into the place with little opposition.
And meanwhile, Cutthroat is also walking around murdering everyone in his way.
And he got there before them. And this episode was kind of weird because they censor a lot of it, and most of it is just dead bodies of people Cutthroat has killed or people getting murdered in the riots, so it's just like black screens where you can only see like the third of it.
Yeah, they censor a lot of shit.
They get to a room where they find Cutthroat, and he's murdered basically everybody in the building pretty much, and it's just a pile of bodies, and you can barely see anything while this room is going on because everything is like blacked out.
Yeah, imagine an entire black screen, but up in like the top left corner is just Cutthroat, and he's just sitting there like, hey, isn't this great?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I can't see it.
A side note, Hoodlum has scored with Doctor.
Yeah, Doctor just wants to get laid, so they do it. They do it.
Good for him, I guess.
Yeah. And they have like a
He looks way
weird.
better without like the pompadour.
Holy shit! Yeah, he does.
He just
He's
looks like a
also
regular dude.
ripped. He's also ripped as fuck.
Is he ripped? I thought he was just in decent shape.
He's pretty shredded.
It
A
was
lot
in
more
prison, so
than
you have time to work out.
that's fair. But they also have like a esoteric discussion where doctor is like, I don't give a fuck about dying. I want to make sure that I can control whether or not everything else lives and dies.
And he's like, that's pretty weird. But then she mentions, like, hey, how old do you think I am? So I'm going to guess she's probably way older than she looks, and she's just made herself medically look younger.
That's what I'm thinking. This is a woman who can fix herself after being cut in half and having her throat slashed. So, like, it doesn't feel that far out of the realm of possibility.
But yeah, so Cutthroat is crazy, and he's lost his shit and decides he's really wounded now too, but before he dies, he wants to kill Swindler, and he beats Courier by like, I think he knocks him out for a brief period.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't really do anything during this. And so he just starts chasing Swindler around, and they do the here's Johnny thing.
They do.
Yeah,
I kind of enjoyed that.
She hides in the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, they're going to do it.
They're going to do it.
And then he busts in, breaks down the bathroom door, but she still manages to escape. And then she runs into a room with all of the executioner batons. And I'm like, ooh, this is going to be cool.
The way this happens is kind of interesting. She trips and the hacker ball falls out of her backpack and rolls away. And then when she looks up, the hacker ball is sitting next to this unlocked armory door to the room where all the executioner tools is. So I have a theory that hacker's been watching through the ball, and he was lending some aid.
Yeah, because he's definitely not gone. But yeah, so she hides in that room, and then Cutthroat starts banging on the door and going like, come on, let me kill you. And then immediately goes, you know what? I'm sorry. No one wants to be killed. If you open the door, I promise I won't kill you.
You know, that thing that people who are going to kill someone always say.
And she's like, do you promise? And he's like, yeah, I promise. And she's like, all right, take a step back. I'm going to open up the door. And then he walks in after and he goes like, by the way, I'm sorry. I lied. And then she was hiding behind the door the whole time and goes like, yeah, no shit.
And she fucking jumps down and slashes at him.
Yep. And then she cuts off one of his arms, but then he grabs her with the other arm and starts choking her. He's like, oh, that's no good. If you want to stop me, you got to cut off all my limbs. And but then she just stabs him in the gut.
Yeah, she stabs him right in the heart and he dies. Because apparently he has, like, weird crazy person vision where he sees a bloody halo around her.
Yeah, and so he's like, I know where you are because of this.
And it's weirdly prescient, because it actually kind of seems like he can tell where she is.
I think it's an actual thing. But he's just crazy, so there's no actual, like, logic behind his motivations.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Cutthroat is now dead, and Brawler are both dead. So 2 of the party members are gone now.
Yep.
I wasn't into Hacker's shorter hair, but after she changed her outfit less from, like, you know, the just storage clothes she found in that office area, she looks better now.
Yeah, now she has an actual outfit.
Yeah, but so she escapes. They get to the rooftop, but it's too late. Executioner, Eye Patch Girl, and her new Kohai have escaped on a flying machine thing with the boy.
Yeah, they got away. So.
And we'll probably see Hacker soon, because they've kind of hinted at that. Because she even said to Courier at one point early in the episode, like, if only Hacker were here, we could do this. And he's like, yep, well, he's not.
So we have to come up with our own ideas. So Hacker's probably going to show up and be like, hey, guys, why don't we just do this? And I like Hacker. I like his character design. I like to look at him. I like
this series in the sense of, like, hey, we had, like, a solid group dynamic, and now it's completely fallen apart. Half the group, 2 of the group members are dead because one was crazy. The other, I guess everyone was crazy, technically.
Yeah, that's fair.
Everybody here is crazy, I think.
Everyone is batshit bonkers.
Even Swindler's getting a little crazy.
Swindler
the part
is
where she was realizing how much like, oh man, this is awesome. I could get used to this.
Yeah.
I caused an entire city to riot just with my words.
I took down a city with basically a Twitter post.
Yeah, with a single tweet.
You know?
But I knew she's the one that killed Cutthroat, because I thought it was going to be Courier.
Yeah. I think the way they did that was pretty good. I think they handled it nicely.
Why does no one keep these lightsabers?
I don't know.
Because, like, Hoodlum didn't keep the one that he had. She was in a room full of them and didn't keep one. It's like, what are your other weapons? Why just keep the lightsaber?
I'd take like 5. Give me armfuls of those.
Let me go General Grievous on those.
Yeah, those are badass.
Ah, a fine addition to my collection.
And every one you take is one less the executioners can use. Although I suppose Cutthroat killed like a lot of people, so those are a whole bunch of people that won't be able to come after you.
Man, think about how bad those guys were in terms of being jobbers, that they lost to a guy with a bum leg. You know who wouldn't have lost? Mask Guy.
Mask Guy would not have lost. That's why he had to die by fighting Brawler.
In a fist fight.
That was a badass fight.
And even then, he still technically won, because he killed the guy he was trying to kill.
It was a draw. Although, his goal was to die. He was a man looking to die.
You know what? I think he won.
He won. And Brawler lost. Because Brawler wants to live and fight more. So congratulations. It's the ultimate Pyrrhic victory.
Oh,
what other shows start with A?
Not The Wandering Witch. Journey of Elena.
Yeah. You would think because I edit this that I would get the order down better. But you would be mistaken. It's because of the order of the things on my screen.
This was a neat episode.
It was.
Yeah, it's about so this episode doesn't feature Elena. It features Fran and Sheila. And we get kind of their backstory. We learn that Fran used to keep her eyes open.
Yeah, holy shit. Fran could see. And she was also, we already knew that she was the apprentice for Elena's mom, which, by the way, we get legit ass like 1,000% confirmation on that.
Yeah.
But she also used to be co-apprentices with Sheila.
Yep, they were both her apprentices, because apparently they're going on vacation together, because they go on vacation every year, because they go into the story of how they didn't like each other when they were kids, and we sort of see that. And Sheila, you know what? I really like Sheila.
Me too.
Sheila gives me like Mordred / Saki vibes.
Hell yeah.
Like, they first meet her, like, because she smokes a pipe now because she's an adult, but we see her as a kid smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised they even show. She's like fucking 14 smoking constantly.
Whatever. Don't worry about it.
No, but like they censored Jotaro smoking.
Actually, that's a good point. I don't know. Maybe times have just changed. You can tell she's a badass because I've noticed that only the biggest badasses can roll their R's like super hard. That's how
they
you
do
know
it for, like,
someone's
the lowbrow sort of like tough guy, tough girl sounding speech.
Yeah, you can tell someone's a rough and tumble character when they put on that specific pattern.
But yeah, so they didn't really get along, but they go to this town, and apparently everyone in this town really doesn't like mages.
Because there's the Phantom Thieves. I mean, actually, I forget what their name was. It was something. Oh, it was like the Curious Cabaret or something like that.
Yeah, basically, there's this gang that controls the town, and they all have these weird enchanted items that they've been using to beat wizards or mages, and they've just been essentially beating them, breaking their wands, and making it so they can't fight back.
And they've been doing a real good job.
Yeah, so the association there is like, hey, we will pay you 10 gold coins in order to do this. And Elena's mom, being Elena's mom, doesn't even ask what the job is. She's just like, how much is it worth? He's like, well, I'm going to tell you what the job is. How much are you paying?
What I would like to know is how much you are paying to do this job.
But yeah, after he tells Elena's mom that, and she's just like, all right, we'll do it. And he's like, oh man, I'm so glad. He's like, having you, a witch like you, help us. And she's like, no, I'm not going to do it. My 2 apprentices are going to do it.
And if they fail to do it, they are getting expelled.
And so both of them think, all right, I'm going to catch this gang by myself and get the other one expelled.
You can imagine how that goes.
So it doesn't go well. They end up kind of screwing each other over by trying to keep crashing each other's interrogation.
And it's a mess.
And then eventually they both get captured.
Fran says it's on purpose, and
No,
I would.
No, Sheila says it's on purpose.
No, because because Fran goes
Fran
to the...
Fran wanted them to drag themselves out, but she didn't realize everybody in the restaurant was going to attack her.
That's right.
Sheila just apparently, according to her, just got captured on purpose.
Yeah, because she went to their base directly and was like, hey, assholes.
But yeah, so they get brought to this basement area and tied up down there, and the lady's talking about how they're going to dispose of them, which is weird because it's like, oh, they're going to murder these 2 girls, even though everybody else they've mostly been letting get away with like a few like bumps on the noggin.
Yeah, this would be a real hard turn for the Curious Cabaret.
But of course they don't actually do that because they were also shown by their teacher how to use knives.
Yeah, you need to draw it in a sexy way.
Which they do, but then at the same time, this entire group of armed people loses to 2 girls with knives.
2 magical girls with knives.
Yep. So they do that, and then Fran gets her wand back, and then just starts obliterating everybody. Then Sheila gets her wand back, and it's basically over.
Yeah, it's R.I. Pepperonis.
And they both basically describe their backstories to each other, where Sheila was basically a street urchin who taught herself magic to steal from people, and then she tried to steal from Elena's mom, but of course, Elena's mom, I guess, is like the greatest witch who ever lived. And then she's like, hey, you're not very good, but I want to train you.
I could make you better.
And then Fran explains that she just only did it because she was the only person in her village that was a witch. She's like, no other person was a witch in my village, so I thought, hey, if I do this, that's steady income.
So they're both in it for kind of selfish reasons. And they bond. They form a bond.
Then they become good friends and even into adulthood go on this trip together every year.
Yeah. They all go back to the same city. And it's cool.
And then it turns out we got an overarching plot now because apparently some box that Sheila was going to have Saya deliver to that place was from this place, from their backstory. It's still not fully known what the deal with it is.
Yeah.
And then last second, Sheila's like, uh-oh, we got to go back there now.
We got to get that box.
I was thinking at the beginning of the episode, too, where she sent Saya away, and she's just like, all right, just don't open the box. We don't know what's inside, so, it could be something really dangerous. And she was like, okay. I'm like, is the Always Sunny credits going to pop up like Saya opens the box?
It might as fucking well have. This is a real Pandora's box situation. You give someone a mysterious box and you tell them not to open it, that box is going to be opened.
That's a pretty area, though, that they're in, though, that town.
Yeah.
Very scenic. But yeah, that's where Elena is going right now.
I want to say about this show that even though the places themselves, like a lot of details about the town just doesn't matter, so they don't go into a lot of the details with it.
Yeah, the world building is not really the point of this series.
Exactly.
It's an anthology series, so it's just, it's here, and then we throw it away and never use it again.
They still do a good job of making all the towns and places look distinct and look nice. The show's visual style is very nice. This is a good-looking show.
It is. Salt Lily is sometimes a good-looking show, sometimes not. Like with CG Riri running on the water.
Yeah, that was no bueno. So
the first part of this episode is the student council's like, hey, we gotta give Yuri to Gehenna. And Riri is like, no, my child, and runs away with her.
And this opens a big old can of worms.
And then the rest of the episode is like politically them trying to solve the situation.
Yeah, apparently they send out like all the lilies everywhere to hunt them down, but we don't
Also,
focus
I'm
on
wondering,
that.
is this a gotcha? Is this like gonna be a gotcha game or something? Because they cut to like different schools with different lilies, and they give us the names of them too. Like it's real quick. You don't even have time to read it, but I'm sitting there looking at that going, that's for a gotcha game, isn't it? That's supposed to be like, oh hey, they're from the special rate up where you can roll all for them. That one's a 5-star, that one's a 6-star, that one's a 4-star.
It would not fucking surprise me one little bitty bit.
Because this is such a bloated cast, because they keep needing to add people's names every time they pop up on screen because there's so many of them. Like every single episode, it's like even the core members of the Legion, they still pop up with the name on there because they're like, you don't remember.
Yeah, for like the first 15 minutes, the subtitles are hard to read because there's just so much text on the screen. You've got people's names in Japanese, and then you've got their names in English and their titles in subtitles.
And it's like
oh my God.
Because I have to get reintroduced to everyone every week, and I don't even know why you bother doing it, because I'm not going to remember every time you do it anyway.
That's why I do my best to just avoid reading those. It's like, it doesn't matter.
If you aren't Riri or Yuri, I don't remember.
Exactly. There's 3 characters that I know, and everyone else doesn't really matter and can just be identified by the way they look. I don't get it.
But yeah, they solved the situation with the executives, the guys in suits. And I was like, huh, that's a weird way to solve that. Just like in a show about girls battling things.
Let's talk about what makes someone human.
And then they win, also because they got help from Rich Girl, who called her dad and said, don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole or I won't like you anymore. And her dad was like, well, I can't have that.
Yeah, so that was strange. And then all the girls get back together at the end, and they're like, hey, we're all friends. Aren't we the best friends? And then the last 5 minutes, they throw in, oh no, this is a huge that can blow a hole in the atmosphere. It's that powerful.
It shoots like a crazy magi ozone-ass laser.
And it's like, it's going to destroy us all. And then Yuri runs across the water at high speed while Riri chases her, but she's much slower. And they're like, whoa, Yuri has copied all of our traits.
That's crazy.
She copies every special ability and then destroys the huge and then dies in the explosion. And I'm like, okay. We had like 5 minutes for this, but it's like, we have saved Yuri and she can now go to the school. She's dead now.
Congrats, guys. We've discovered what it truly means to be human. Also, none of that matters anymore because she just died. Yeah. And in the last, 5 minutes...
It seriously is just backloaded onto the end where I'm like... You couldn't... The emotional punch isn't even there just because you're more like, oh, that was fast. That was very quick.
I wanted to be sad, but I was just too shocked. Because, the huge shows up, and I will say I do like the design of the huge. I think it looks cool. But they introduced a big cool monster at the end of an episode. I thought the episode was over.
And it got destroyed instantly. I thought that was set up for the next episode.
Yeah. You know what? That's what a better show would do. They would have a slow kind of contemplative episode with character growth and plot development. And then in the next episode, they would have a big-ass monster, and everyone would fight it, and it would look super cool.
And we spent the whole episode trying to, save this character from getting taken by a company, only to kill her immediately after.
That's another thing that would have benefited greatly from putting that off another episode. Because it would give us at least a little bit more time. We would have space for characters to be like, no, we just... saved you from the government. You can't do this. You'll die.
Assault Lily's weird because it's not even one of those shows where I can be like, well, I still enjoy it because the girls are cute. Because it's I don't even fucking know most of them.
Yeah, it's hard to be like, oh, this girl.
I'm invested really in nobody. There's 2 characters, just Riri and Yu.
I like the green-haired girl's stockings match her hair.
Yeah, she's cute looking. If you ask me anything about her personality, I would be like,
I kind of want to say she's the one who likes cats, but I think that might be a different one.
no, that's the blonde one with red eyes.
Yeah.
The green one's personality thing was she just kind of followed around the blonde one because she was curious as to what she was doing.
That's a bad foundational character trait.
Then you have the two lesbians who don't really do anything besides like gaze at each other every now and then.
You're talking the one with heterochromia and the Chinese girl from
Iceland.
Greenland?
Yeah.
Iceland.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the girl with twin tails that's kind of there.
She used to be part of the armory division. I guess they just let her not do that anymore.
I guess we know the rich girl and the Yuri fanfiction girl we at least have somewhat established.
That's true. Even though they haven't like done anything for a long time.
Well, I guess
we get more of
rich girl.
The rich girl.
And you know what? There's probably someone else in this Legion that I'm missing, but that just shows how irrelevant they are. If I can't think of them right now.
I'm trying to go through everyone in my head, and I genuinely can't remember if there's someone else. That's not good. That means your cast is too big.
It is, because not only, like, the Legion is big enough as it is, but that's still fine if we just focused on that. But we keep cutting to so many other people in this school.
Okay, there's the part where they cut to the three girls at a cafe?
Who are they? No, yeah. I don't think we met them.
That was the first question in my head, because we cut to them and we hold on them for literally an entire conversation where they're like, do we think Yu is a person, or Yuri is a person? And I'm like, I don't know who you are. I don't care about your opinions. If you
also,
literally...
you know what? If this was like a conversation that needed to be having just to like wonder what girls think about like the idea of an artificial like Lily, then have it be within the main group having this sort of existential crisis.
Exactly. This would have been such a better conversation with the main characters.
It's like anytime a new thing needs to be brought up, they have it done by a new group of people.
And that is the most baffling.
New character will be like introduced, or a new character will just be given spotlight to talk about something. And it's like, why?
Yeah, it's like when Yu has to buy a present.
You gave the Taiwanese and Chinese Icelandic girl one episode for their development, and then that was it. And now they don't do anything but make comments in the background about the overarching plot.
They're all part of the peanut gallery. No one matters.
The green girl does nothing.
The green girl actually does nothing.
She actually does nothing. She is the most useless to the plot.
Sad.
She literally just is in there because she accompanied the one that likes cats. Even then, she still doesn't do much. She dropped this episode that I am a boosted Lily. I was previously part of Gehenna, and they did experiments on me. I'm like, huh, are we going to dive deeper into that? Oh, nope. Okay, I guess we're moving on.
That would be cool. Oh, yeah, also there's Gehenna. What's up with those dudes? They get mentioned here and there, but other than that, it's like, that's it.
This is not a very well-structured show.
No.
That's why I'm like, it's got to be for a gacha game or something. It's got to be for, like, just, look how cute these girls are. There's too many. We have to include all of them, though, so you don't feel like you wasted money rolling for them.
That's the only logical conclusion for this. This requires
everyone is required to get one line and one scene, so you can be like, oh, that's my favorite one. That's the one I spent $200 on.
Man. You think anyone ever spent $200 on blonde-haired girl with red eyes? Because that's sad. That would be sad.
At least she's part of the main Legion group. Imagine like the girls we saw like with like the purple hair talking at that cafe.
Oh man, I wanted them so bad. We got their names. They gave us their names, and I don't even remember looking at the subtitles to learn their names. They gave their names
all on the same screen, so you'd have to like read them all really quickly and also pay attention to the conversation they're having.
You gotta pause to learn people's names.
And
that's not okay.
I'm not adding time to this show.
No. I would rather do literally anything else with my time.
Yeah.
Let's do something else with our time and stop talking about
Yes.
Assault
Speaking
Lily
of
Bouquet.
sad, but that not actually sad, the day I became a god.
So
Hacker guy got abused by his parents because they wanted him only for his hacking skill.
he's a young kid in this flashback. I want to know how you figured that out at such a young age.
He's just naturally good. They said he's gifted. That's his special gift.
It's weird.
But yeah, so he doesn't like being used by shitty adults, and then he gets used by shitty adults.
And that's his thing. He's
Yeah,
gonna
so
get used by shitty adults.
we finally find out what's up with Hina. She has a supercomputer in her brain.
It compensates for the Logos syndrome.
Yeah, basically she has a quantum computer in her brain, so that's why she's basically hooked up to the internet at all times and just kind of is all-knowing.
And
yep, he finds
Hacker
this out.
Kid uses that
yeah.
to track her down.
Hacker Kid also wants to be a good guy too. He wants to use his hacking skills for good, but everyone uses him to do it for evil. And he ends up telling them, and they are like, "All right." And he's like, "What are you gonna do? You're not gonna take it out, right? Because that's gonna like kill her." And they're like, "That's not our decision to make. That's for the suits to make." And everyone knows the suits always make the right choice.
Of course.
But yeah, so they throw him in a room. But I feel like Bodyguard Guy, at least, like, you know, I feel like Bodyguard Guy kind of cares about him a bit, because Bodyguard Guy doesn't take away his hacking equipment, so he uses that to warn Hina.
Yeah, I am with you on that front.
Yeah, so she's just kind of sitting there, and she's like, "Oh, also what we predicted last week is correct. It's not the world ending for them; it's just her, because she couldn't perceive past the next 30 days.
Yep,
that's because she was dying. But then but she also, I guess, didn't really realize everything about herself, and Hacker Guy basically connects with her." And this kind of moves really quickly, this scene, but like she's just like, "Oh, someone just basically told me everything, so yeah, now I know what's going on, and I understand everything, and I'm really happy that my grandpa was so great."
Yeah, sorry guys, but I'm gonna die. And everyone's like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "All right, also the government is gonna come get me?"
Yeah, she's like, "They just signed off on it. Oh, that's another authorization, and that's another one, and then another one. Yep. All right, I'm screwed."
Because it's a whole bunch of governments.
And then they start running away because a bunch of suits show up, and then all of the side characters are like, "Don't worry, we'll hold them off for you."
Even though most of them are teenagers.
Teenagers and women.
Like, at least the guy who used to be a thug and the dude who is now the bodyguard for the TV personality woman are there.
Yeah, I think
they would have
gotten
gotten
there too. But yeah,
so them, they would have gotten steamrolled.
They run out into the rain, and he's telling Hina, he's like, "We got to escape," and she's like, "What do you escape where? They'll find us anywhere. There's no place to go to." She's pretty calm about the whole thing, because she's like been expecting it. But then he hugs her and tells her that he loves her.
Yep.
Not Izanami, he loves Hina.
And she says that she loves him too. And then
they get broken apart because the guys in suits show up and they pin him to the ground and take her away. And it's supposed to be really sad, but I'm like, this is episode 9.
We knew Hina was dead like 4 episodes ago.
Also, I'm like, this is a key work. Every single key work has had like, isn't everything so sad? Oop, something magic happened at the end and everyone lives happily.
I wonder what it's going to be.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to be?
I don't know. It's going to be an ass pull though, because it's always an ass pull.
Oh, it's got to have something to do with the movie. Because I remember at one point in the episode, they're like, because fucking, they do the thing where a bunch of characters learn like some big stuff, but they all speak in vague terms to each other. So it's like, what? So it wasn't all a coincidence, but it'll bring down everything we know. And I hate that shit. I hate that shit so much. It's so frustrating.
But yeah, they end up getting broken apart, and we'll see what happens with that. And obviously it's episode 9, it's a key work, so they're gonna find like the magical solution where everyone lives happily ever after at the end. Because for some reason the dude's obsessed with making things sad but not committing to the punch. Except with Angel Beats. That was like the only one where I'm like, hey, that just ended sadly, where like Little Buster's clan ad, they were like, "Don't worry, guys, we fixed it."
I kind of hate that, but whatever.
Don't
We knew
everyone is dead, but not really.
we knew this was coming.
Yeah.
We knew it. So
That's why I wasn't that sick, because I'm like, I'm still expecting things to turn out all right.
yeah, I still think the Izanami one was the saddest.
Yeah, just because
And I
that's
think-
like something that's like, that's
I
not
think-
getting magically fixed.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a holding pattern. I think that's how it's going to end up. I'm calling it. That will always be the saddest episode of the show. But I'm okay with it. I am okay with this show.
Yeah. I don't have
Is-
anything more to say about it. We're pressed for time, so let's move
Yeah.
on to Fire Force.
Fire Force is pretty cool.
So Lieutenant Kondo is really cool. All the lieutenants
He's-
are great.
Yeah. So basically, everyone is sus of Kondo now.
Yeah,
'Cause
so
they're
Princess
like-
goes with Shinra because, Shinra's not sus of Kondo because he trusts him.
Because
But,
Shinra's smart.
Yeah, so they go and they try to find him, and he's not at the 7th. He went off to some shed or shack on like the end of town by himself, and Princess is like, "Oh, that's pretty suspicious." Turns out they find him alone with a white clad, and the white
they're
clad
like-
goes to attack him.
And he is the samurai, dude.
Just
He is the
cuts him
mall
down in
samurai.
one strike with his katana.
It's awesome.
But yeah, so Shinra then goes and asks him because they sit and have some tea. He's like, "Have you ever seen like a hellscape world?" And he's like, "Yeah, I saw one at the night of that demon attack 2 years ago." And then you see how the demon was basically a doppelganger of him, had the same exact power. And because this guy was like, I think he was even considered stronger than Benimaru back when he had his fire powers.
He was.
'Cause
That
he
I
was the
do
captain
remember.
before. He ends up destroying it in like one big blast, but then after he sees the world of Adela after.
So he has been there. And we clear him.
And then the next day they then they go back and ask Benimaru if they can train them, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, just bring all your rookies tomorrow because I don't want to have to keep repeating myself."
Yeah, because he's like, well, you should try hysterical strength. And they're like, what is that? And Benimaru just
Your
goes,
fight or flight mode.
yeah, it's your fight or flight mode. Just like do it. Just train and do it.
But yeah, so they end up showing up the next day. It's Shinra, Arthur, and Tamaki shows up, and she mentions how she wants to get stronger. And we get an actual development episode for Tamaki.
I am happy about that.
I don't know what it's going to amount to, because,
I hope that it means she gets a fight where she can actually fight.
But it boils down to she has the twins, like the twins from the 7th, essentially chase her around, and she needs to avoid them for 1 minute. But they keep catching her, and then she sort of goes through her whole flashback sequence about her just kind of doing what she's told, or what other people tell her that's like, "Oh, you should do this because that's a good thing to do." And her just kind of she eventually stops limiting herself, and then her cat powers increases to the point where instead of just the ears and the tail, she has like almost like a mask.
Yeah, I dig it. I suspect she's going to get more cat form the more she trains and powers up.
And now she has a special cat attack, and she's good at her thing.
Yep.
And then Benimaru shows up, and he's just like, "It seems you were holding yourself back this whole time, but it seems like you peeled off that layer." And then her bra falls off, and he's like, "You didn't need to peel off that many layers, though."
I know, like a week or two ago, I said the Lucky Lechery jokes were never funny. That one got a chuckle out of me. That one got me.
I think just because of Benimaru's dry delivery.
Yeah, Benimaru was awesome.
I feel like that type of thing, like, it's not funny as it is, but like a dry delivery is better than just like, "Whoa!"
I think in general, dry delivery can make a lot of like not very funny jokes funny. We
Yeah, 'cause
also
that's what you would actually respond to that with.
Yeah. We also it cuts throughout the episode to Shinra and Arthur just being like roasted over open flames. And they're like,
Yeah,
what is
the
this
last part of the
training?
episode, they're being like crucified over fire, and they're like, Lieutenant, did you forget about us?
Yeah, and that got a laugh out of me every time. Because they just cut to it.
But yeah, next week we'll see them actually learn more, and then we'll see Shinra and Arthur probably get new abilities.
Yes. I want to see what hysterical strength actually is.
And lastly,
That was good
Higurashi.
bits. So some shit happens.
So the episode opens with a flashback of the original route this is based off of, where Keiichi originally murders Teppei by attacking him on the road while he's on his bike and then beating his brains in.
It makes me wonder if...
Ooh, it makes me wonder.
It makes me wonder if Keiichi's flashbacks to previous
I'm pretty
routes...
sure right now it's like him almost... Like, it's not just like... I feel like at the end of this, Keiichi is going to be aware of the loop.
Yeah, that feels like where it's building to. It's got to be, right?
Because it seems like he's aware of routes where he is the killer of somebody else.
Yeah.
Because he remembers the only other times he had flashbacks was the one where he kills Rena, and this one where he kills Teppei, which means I don't believe he's going to kill Teppei this time around.
No. Yeah, I think it's going to be someone else.
Because the original route, he kills Teppei, which Teppei totally deserves it.
100%.
Yeah, he kills Teppei, and the gang actually is aware that he killed Teppei, so they cover for him by saying he was at the festival with them. So, like, but that whole route, of course, because Hinamizawa syndrome, he's completely, like, wrought with paranoia and thinks everybody knows, or he thinks Teppei survived and is coming back to get revenge on him.
Damn.
Yeah. And this is one of the few routes where Keiichi and, like, Oishi don't really have a good relationship. Because, originally he, like, assumed, like, oh, man, he knows I killed him. And Oishi as a cop is just like, are you sure you were at the festival last night?
Yeah, and I even noticed on this time around, Oishi's kind of like an asshole to Keiichi.
Yeah, and Ire basically explains that everybody has Ire takes him to he asks where Satoko is, and he kind of gives Keiichi like a squeeze on the shoulder that hurts him enough that he has the doctor look at it, and then Ire explains he does the whole like, do you know Oreshio-sama? And then gives him that whole spiel, and then after tells him they have a name for Oishi around here. They call him Oyashiro-sama's familiar.
Yeah, because he's been investigating the cases super hard forever. He just won't let him drop.
And yeah, so then they notice Satoko's not coming to school, or if she is, she's basically like dead inside. So they want to do something about that. Where they try to get like they're like, what if we call child services? And they're like, they said they'll look into it or keep an eye out for it. So they go to their teacher and ask her.
Yeah, the teacher is she's down for it, and she goes to investigate, but she doesn't get anywhere either.
Yeah, because he's like, he's at the door. He's like, what do you want, bitch?
That's a great way to start. That's a great way to open any conversation.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm Satoko's teacher. She wasn't in class today, and no one called. He's like, she was sick. Will she be in class tomorrow? I don't know. And he just slams the door on her. And then she's like, yeah, I couldn't do anything about that. They try calling Child Protective Services again. They don't do anything. But then Satoko shows up back at school, and she's her regular, like, oh, ho, 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 self.
Yeah.
And everything seems fine. And then during lunch, they're all enjoying some food, and then Keiichi goes to pat her on the head.
Now, a common occurrence with abuse victims, physical abuse victims, is that they will shy away from physical contact from other people.
Except this is a little more extreme than just shying away.
She has a fucking mental breakdown.
Yeah, he goes to pat her on the head, and then she slaps his hand away, and then runs over into the corner, like starts vomiting and crying, saying, I'm sorry, gomenasai, 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 gomenasai.
Yeah, it is very unnerving to watch.
And everyone's like, what the hell? Which is like what I'm wondering, because this is basically what drives Keiichi to be like, I gotta kill Teppei. And even now I'm like, someone's still gotta kill Teppei.
Yeah, he's dead. And it can't be Keiichi, because, like, he did it the first time.
Yeah, because he knows this time that it happened. But, yeah, who will kill Teppei.
I still cast a little bit of suspicion onto the doctor.
Well, the thing with
But-
Irei is Irei is not susceptible to Hinamizawa syndrome because he's there to study it. He's aware it exists, so he's like...
So he's clean.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oishi doesn't believe in curses, so he's less likely to be susceptible to paranoia.
I don't know. Could this be
The only
one
other
where...
person I could think of, but Rika also can't get Hinamizawa syndrome because she's got the looping power.
Exactly.
Also, her body's just naturally immune to it.
Oh, nice. That seems pretty cool.
Rena and Miku seem kind of passive this one.
Yeah.
Miko.
Yeah. Miko. They are taking kind of a back seat. Rena actually a lot is taking kind of a back seat on this one. She's definitely the more, hey, let's all chill here.
Yeah, let's let the teacher handle the adult thing.
And then it doesn't work. I wonder if it's going to be Satoko.
Actually, with the weird thing is her acting like that would be kind of strange if she had like the looping power.
Yeah.
She's like vomiting, freaking out. But I could see that as a thing where she kills Teppei herself, especially if she knows like, oh man, I gotta do this shit again.
Maybe.
Because I know Rika won't do it, because even in the route, because she knows that the route where they had Keiichi, or they let Keiichi kill Teppei, he goes crazy, so you don't really want to trigger that one.
Yeah. I don't know. This is the most curious arc. We did this. Where are you going? Where are you going, arc?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm curious to see. I also need a payoff at the end of this. Like, I need there to be, like, a good payoff other than just it being, like, it's Higurashi, but, oh, it's a little bit different.
That would also be very nice. Because I feel like it would fall a little limp if it was just... Yeah. And then that's it.
You who didn't watch the original, though, how are you feeling about the series?
I think it's cool.
Cool.
I don't have a lot of the context for a lot of the stuff behind it.
Yeah.
But
for me, it's been 10 years, so I forget things. Because like I remember the basic idea of stuff where it's like the last route. I was like, Mion kills everybody. Or the one before where it's like Keiichi kills Rena and Mion, but then this time it was Rena who was crazy instead of Keiichi.
Yeah.
And this one I know, like, this is the one where he kills Teppei because he tries to obsessively become Satoko's big brother.
Without any of that past, I can still I
yeah, I feel like it's still, you can still at least enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, it is still enjoyable to watch because you still get to see, especially now coming into this third arc, we can still see all of these elements, overarching elements still fitting into the show. And yeah, I still dig it.
That's good.
I do still want to go watch the originals at some point eventually.
You have the Blu-ray.
I do. I own it. I just don't have the time. Speaking of time,
it's time we wrap this up.
Yeah, we've gone well over our time.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Yeah. If you liked this, then if you're watching on YouTube, give the video a like. If you want to get updates in your subscription feed, then subscribe to the channel. Doing that will also give you first-class access to any other cool stuff we post on YouTube. Check some of that out. We got some specials up there. If you're listening on pod platforms, feel free to rate, review, subscribe, follow, all of that fun stuff, whatever is available on your pod platform of choice.
There always
helps. There are many. Should you desire to receive updates on when we go live with new episodes on other platforms, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Protagonist Seat for
social
both.
Media. We post.
Keeping it easy. Any new updates or anything fun like that, we post on our social media. Our delightful OP, if you feel a burning need to track down who made that, then say no more, friend. It is Popskyy. We will post his link in the description below. I believe that's everything.
That is everything.
All right. That is all we have for this week. Stay tuned. Class dismissed.
See you next time.